going to speak in English because we just have translation English to French. So first of all, I want to welcome you all this afternoon here in Casa, Africa, and I want to apologize my Director General who is not here today. So first of all, I also want to thank the University of Las Palmas de Gran Canaria for his presence here, and specifically Professor Ruiz Alzola for his initiative and his lovely work that he's doing, and also all the persons that are coming from abroad, Senegal as well as United States, etc. So thank you very much, and I just want to give the floor to Professor Ruiz Alzola, that I'm sure he'll be able to delight us with the work that you are currently doing. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Anna. Good afternoon. So we are really delighted to have the opportunity to welcome the delegation of Senegal here in Las Palmas and all our colleagues from the United States, Canada, and Europe these days in Las Palmas. So Mr. Ambassador, first of all, thank you very much for coming. Mr. Director of Health of the Senegal Military, many thanks a lot. Also, General Consul, and of course Babacar, my friend and collaborator Babacar, friend and collaborator Mike Holly, Andras Lasso, and all of you, Tina Kapur, and all of you who have been working so hard to make this possible. I have also to mention someone without whose help we couldn't be here, and it is Professor Ron Kikinis. He's now in Bremen. He couldn't come this time. He has been in Las Palmas several times, and he is supporting all of us, both from Boston, Harvard University, and from Bremen, Fraunhofer Institute. So he is one of the main leaders in the field worldwide, and his support and devotion to these research projects is very important to all of us. So I am not going to speak too much, because I think that what is important now is that you see several demonstrations, and we will have a demonstration made by Babacar Diaw from Senegal, so using the technology that they have become familiar during the last year, and I think that they are doing a real great job. I mean, it is impressive how fast Dr. Babacar Diaw and his team had advanced during these last months. They have come several times to Las Palmas. We have worked together with them and with the colleagues from international colleagues, many of them from Harvard and other universities. Colleague and friend Mike Holly has been here several times, in addition to some other researchers from the university. We also have here Andras Lasso and Shaba Pinter. They come from the Perk Lab, from Queen's University in Ontario, Canada. So they are the creators of some image-guided therapy applications and solutions and software, open source software, that I've had the opportunity to show you in the past. When I was in Dakar, we have spoken many times in Las Palmas about this software, but now we have the opportunity to have with us the creators of the software, and you will have the opportunity to see it by yourself, so that you can assess how this software, both 3D slicer, slicer IGT as it is called, the image-guided therapy extension, and some other applications around it, so can it help in your country. So I think that I'm stopping here. I think it's good to make it as interactive as possible. So I will give the floor to my collaborator, Dr. Babacar Diaw.
Excellence, Monsieur l'ambassadeur du Sénégal en Espagne, Madame le consul général, Madame la directrice de Casa Africa, chers confrères, Mesdames, Messieurs, j'ai l'honneur et le plaisir de discuter, de vous faire part de notre expérience, de l'expérience de l'école militaire de santé de Dakar concernant l'utilisation du logiciel 3D Slicer. Pour cette présentation, j'aimerais vous proposer le plan suivant. Dans un premier temps, nous vous donnerons les circonstances qui ont fait que l'école militaire de santé a été cooptée dans ce projet. Nous vous parlerons de notre expérience sur 3 mois, une expérience courte certes, mais qui a porté ses fruits. Et nous terminerons par les perspectives, ce que nous voulons développer en tout cas, aussi bien pour l'école que dans les hôpitaux militaires. Mon général, si ce plan rencontre votre agrément, je souhaiterais poursuivre. Ce qui a été notre chance, c'est que monsieur l'ambassadeur, le général d'armée Momodou Sow, a visité le centre de simulation de Las Palmas. Et je sais que je connais ce qu'il pense du développement de la médecine militaire et ce qu'il pense de l'école militaire de santé, parce qu'il nous a permis de faire de grands bonds, aussi bien dans le domaine des infrastructures que de l'équipement. Et la deuxième photo, vous me voyez ici au Sénégal avec monsieur Juan et madame Asma en compagnie du doyen de la Faculté de Médecine de Dakar et du directeur du centre de télémédecine. Je revenais d'une cérémonie militaire à Thiès, à 70 km de Dakar, quand j'ai reçu un coup de fil de madame Asma qui me disait que le général voulait que je passe les voir. J'ai pas eu le temps de me changer, j'ai foncé directement avec la tenue de cérémonie au Méridien. Nous avons eu une séance de travail et c'est après cette séance que j'ai eu des échanges avec le projet MACbioIDi dirigé par M. Juan ici présent, ce qui nous a permis d'intégrer le projet Slicer. Et il y a de cela 3 mois, nous avons eu la chance de bénéficier de la formation. Nous avons fait 3 semaines. Durant ces 3 semaines, nous avons appris à utiliser le logiciel avec plusieurs modules. Et ça a été une expérience vraiment passionnante qui nous a permis, étant même ici à Las Palmas, d'avoir beaucoup de projets. Beaucoup de projets ont germé dans nos têtes et nous en avions discuté avec M. Juan, parce que j'avais vu que les gens avaient développé des atlas dans beaucoup de domaines, mais le pelvis posait un problème. J'ai discuté avec eux, ils m'ont dit non, ils ont trouvé le pelvis difficile. J'ai dit moi ça m'intéressait parce que étant professeur d'urologie, je pouvais bien travailler sur l'atlas du pelvis et intégrer également ce nouveau logiciel dans l'enseignement à l'école militaire de santé. C'est ce qui a été notre projet pour ces 3 derniers mois. Et nous remercions au passage ce qui nous ont nos instructeurs, M. Jorge ici, M. Raoul, Sonia Pouyol, les Naira, Juan, merci à tous et je ne peux pas continuer de citer parce que je risque d'oublier certains. Et ça a été des images de la formation d'il y a 3 mois. Et qu'est-ce qui se passe? Qu'est-ce que nous faisons actuellement à Dakar? Une fois à Dakar, nous en avons discuté avec le chef d'état-major général des armées qui a donné des instructions pour que l'école reçoive le plus rapidement possible les outils qu'il faut pour l'installation du logiciel et pour que les élèves commencent à travailler là-dessus. Je vous assure que l'instruction a été donnée dans les 48 heures. Nous avons reçu tout ce qu'il fallait comme équipement pour démarrer la formation. Un premier groupe d'élèves a été formé, 30 élèves, et c'est eux qui ont assuré le relais, qui ont créé un groupe Slicer actuellement à l'école. Et le bâtiment qui abrite actuellement la grande salle que vous voyez, nous avons pu acquérir cette salle-là et même l'équiper, comme vous voyez, grâce à l'appui de son Excellence, monsieur l'ambassadeur, quand il était chef d'état-major général des armées. Et vous voyez ici que nos élèves de première année, déjà première année, ils commencent à faire la segmentation en utilisant les images de tomodensitométrie. Ici, nous voyons une segmentation du pelvis, une vue postérieure. Et là, j'ai été surpris quand j'étais ici à Las Palmas. Ils m'ont envoyé à partir de fichiers qu'ils avaient reçus. Ils ont commencé à faire des segmentations du cœur, ce que nous voyons ici, et tout. Et actuellement du poumon. Et ce volume rendering que je vois qui est très beau, montrant la vessie, la prostate, les vaisseaux. On voit même des ganglions sur cette image, ce qui me paraît extraordinaire venant d'élèves de première et de deuxième année de médecine. Mais la partie importante, c'était le développement de l'atlas du pelvis. C'est ce que nous avons essayé de faire et ce que nous voulons vous présenter ici, à partir de ces clichés que vous voyez ici, qui sont des clichés d'IRM d'un malade que nous suivions au Sénégal. Nous avions les 3 coupes ici. Nous avons essayé de développer, de montrer dans cet atlas tous les os du pelvis, tous les muscles du pelvis et tous les organes du pelvis. Ici, vous voyez, quand je vais commencer par vous montrer, quand un étudiant veut travailler là-dessus, ce sera très simple. Il lui suffit d'un seul clic pour voir apparaître les 2 os du coccyx et il peut jouer comme il veut. Je peux augmenter ici, aller en 3D only. Voilà. Vous voyez? On voit pas l'image. L'image ne sort pas, c'est dommage. Naira. Voilà. Donc, c'était à partir de la radiographie que nous voyons ici. Excusez-moi. Voilà, la radiographie de ce malade, que nous voyons une IRM d'un malade qu'on a pu développer la segmentation du pelvis. Là, si je clique, je vais faire apparaître les os en 3 dimensions. Nous les voyons ici. Voilà, je peux recomposer tous les os du pelvis, le sacrum que je vais ajouter en un seul clic, le coccyx, et nous voyons au complet les os du bassin qui sont là. Et nous pouvons insérer tous les muscles en 3 dimensions. Je vais cliquer. Là, vous voyez, je vais aller en 3D, excusez-moi. Nous voyons ici le muscle psoas iliaque, le muscle iliaque derrière. Nous pouvons insérer tous les muscles du pelvis en commençant par là, par le sphincter anal ici en bas. Nous voyons bien le sphincter. Et je vais continuer comme ça, comme ça, comme ça. À chaque fois que je clique, les muscles, les différents muscles vont apparaître. Et ça, l'étudiant ne peut pas l'avoir sur un livre d'anatomie. Et nous voyons bien. Quand j'ai fini la segmentation, j'étais surpris. Parce que pour la première fois, je venais de découvrir comment les muscles étaient disposés en 3 dimensions dans le pelvis. Et ça, c'était quelque chose d'extraordinaire. Et nous pouvons insérer dans ce pelvis tous les organes qui existent, de la prostate en passant par la vessie. Nous voyons la vessie ici, qui est en place. La prostate peut être placée. Pour mieux voir, j'enlève là. Vous voyez la prostate au fond. Je peux ajouter les vésicules séminales. Le rectum peut venir derrière. Voilà. Et en plaçant la vessie ici, on peut voir l'empreinte du côlon sigmoïde qui doit s'insérer ici. On clique, le sigmoïde est là. L'anus qui vient s'insérer ici. Et nous voyons bien, il manque ici les muscles ischio-caverneux en bas que je dois insérer. Voilà. Et nous avons au complet les muscles et les viscères du pelvis. Il est plus facile pour un étudiant d'apprendre dans ces conditions-là parce que à partir de la radiographie, il peut reconstruire tout ce qui est le bassin chez l'homme. C'est ce qui a été notre projet sur 3 mois et nous avons travaillé avec l'équipe de MACbioIDi, notamment Naira. Nous avons eu 3 visioconférences à partir de Dakar. Nous avons d'abord essayé la segmentation automatique et semi-automatique. Ça ne pouvait pas marcher dans le pelvis, on a compris pourquoi les gens avaient des difficultés. Nous avons passé à la segmentation manuelle, ça nous a pris des jours. Ça a été réussi et une fois à Las Palmas ici, nous avons tout recommencé et il nous a fallu 4 jours pour reproduire la même segmentation. Cet outil que Mike vient de mettre sur Open Anatomy peut être utilisé par tous les étudiants en médecine ou bien les médecins. Maintenant, pour ce qui est des perspectives, avant de passer, nous dirons que ça, nous l'avons obtenu grâce au soutien des autorités diplomatiques et surtout des autorités militaires de notre pays. Je pense que le projet SLICE est très bien. On peut vous donner toutes les connaissances nécessaires, mais si vous n'avez pas un soutien derrière, pour vous donner le minimum d'équipement nécessaire, vous ne pouvez pas progresser. Je pense que si le Sénégal a progressé plus rapidement que les autres, parce que nous avons nos autorités derrière. Merci beaucoup. Qu'est-ce que nous voulons pour le futur? C'est le développement de ce type d'outils pour l'enseignement. Je pense que Mike va en parler plus largement. Mettre en place un programme de simulation. Nous souhaiterons que nos médecins et surtout nos chirurgiens s'entraînent plus avec ces outils qui ne coûtent pas cher et qui sont les nouvelles technologies qui vont constituer peut-être les bases de la médecine de demain. Nous voulons développer dès maintenant la planification des actes chirurgicaux, que les gens fassent des segmentations, qui discutent des voies d'abord chirurgicaux, des problèmes d'installation du malade en fonction des données de la segmentation. Et enfin, nous souhaiterons instaurer les traitements guidés par l'imagerie. Et je pense que Andras va insister sur ce volet-là. C'est ce que nous voulions partager avec vous, qui est une expérience courte de 3 mois. Et j'espère que d'ici 1 an, l'École militaire de santé vous apportera encore des choses beaucoup plus élaborées. Je vous remercie.
So I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be here as part of this collaboration. As many of you know, this is a combined week where we have people from our Juan Ruiz's African collaboration that he has spearheaded and that has been so productive. And this week we also have engineers and physicians from the United States and Europe coming here to work together to build new tools. This is part of a more than 25-year program of open development of medical image processing tools and image analysis tools, a partnership that my mentor, Ron Kikinis, and his mentor, Frank Yoles, put together. The idea that physicians and technologists can work together to solve health problems that individually we might have great ideas, but together we can do great things. And that philosophy has extra meaning to be here to work in the Canary Islands, where we can bridge the gap between real needs that as Europeans and Americans perhaps we did not completely understand, what physicians in a different part of the world, what they need and how technology can help them to better treat their patients. So part of that vision means bringing open technology that is developed by researchers but is not owned by any one company, and taking that technology and working very closely to build systems that people need. And so we've really had a chance this week to expand, to see in person how those tools are work. And as someone who, many of us have been in this environment for 10, 12, 15 years, to see the progress that you have made with these tools. Babacar has, he is a perfect example of how these tools can do amazing things in a very short amount of time. It's beyond our dreams that we can see them solving real world problems. And so we're so proud to have you as a partner in the work that you're doing. So I wanted to cover a few different areas of different technologies that we have explored that we think is part of this, part of the puzzle of how we all work together to change health throughout the world, improve health, and help physicians treat their patients, help students learn medicine, help trainers train people so that we have more doctors addressing the needs of people where they are. So I wanted to first, let me take a break here. Oh, you're seeing a preview of my slides. Forgive me. Look, it's a, yes. Okay, all right, there we are. So my project, the one that is most dear to my heart, is changing how anatomy atlases are done in the world. If you're a medical student, wherever you are, one of the ways that you learn about medicine is by reading an atlas. Pictures, labels, and medical knowledge, usually in a book, but now many other different ways. They're one of the most important sources of knowledge that we have of medical knowledge throughout the world. It's a way of expressing that knowledge. So there are many, many different anatomy textbooks that are available. If we look, they've been produced for hundreds of years. There are many different kinds. And there are now many different online resources for those who have good access to the internet and a computer. There are apps, online resources, just as many. There are even there are anatomy texts that are now in public domain, like Gray's Anatomy, or applications that are free to use if you are fortunate enough to have a tablet, an iPad. This is an example of one. So by some definition of free, people can use these without having to pay. But the anatomy atlas as it exists now fails many of the things that we need. For instance, there are many aspects of medicine and medical teaching they don't address. If a student can't afford a book, then that is already sets them back for whether they can learn. There may be not anatomy atlases may not be translated for people to teach people who most need basic anatomy text. We have a problem that most anatomy texts teach typical anatomy as if it is normal anatomy. So an anatomy textbook may show the spine with a certain number of vertebrae, but the number of vertebrae in humans is variable. You may have one less, one more. That may be more details of the vasculature in the heart. And if a surgeon has never encountered a condition, a variation, he or she might make a horrible mistake if they aren't familiar that that is normal anatomy. But a normal anatomy textbook, no matter where it comes from on Earth, doesn't express that. There are many other things. If we have two atlases and they don't agree, what does it mean? Well, it means that two anatomists have differences, but every anatomist or every anatomy textbook presents one view, and that is not the way that we think about medicine. Medicine is about a range of views, and better ones competing with other ones and becoming more rich. If anatomy textbooks can't tell us information like which blood vessel feeds this part of the brain, that can be very important information for a physician, but a book may not provide that. If a physician wanted to see a three-dimensional view of a patient's heart, that doesn't leap off the page of a book. But if we have the data that we have three-dimensional information about a heart in an anatomy atlas, we could print one to allow a physician to understand how they might operate to save a person's life. There are things in the future. We have no way to say what does tissue feel like, but in the future we'll have technologies like displays that will give us information can relate what touch feels like. So when we have that information, we want something that can say, does this flesh feel the way it should? And if we want to educate a patient about whether they're sick, tell me why it hurts. That an anatomy atlas should be able to do that. So we also, finally, if we have a surgeon who has performed a procedure, it would be nice if they could teach by publishing the information of the surgery in a way that other people can inspect it. So another way to think about anatomy atlas is they're libraries of anatomical knowledge. They change, they evolve, they're grown as everyone contributes, just as knowledge happens. The anatomy atlas is a conduit to bring that to people. They can be created. Imagine a system where anyone can create, edit, or improve an atlas. For anyone in the world can do that. We're all equals in our knowledge that we can bring, that we know about patients. And then we make it available to anyone in the world. Anyone can use this, much like Wikipedia is an encyclopedia that is available to everyone, replaced a standard long collection of books like the Encyclopedia Britannica. We now have something that everyone has access to, knowledge created by people. And finally, we make it available for free so that we never have to face the question of whether information is important enough that it can be shared for free, and it shouldn't be controlled by one company. That is the kind of work that we can do by building tools that, like this, we have built a tool that allows information that is processed in 3D Slicer from different research areas that we have worked on, brain atlases or knee atlases or the head and neck or the abdomen, and we publish these. So we started this program to be able to bring this information, and this is a collection of information. It brings labels, the names of structures, which can be in English or Latin or any language, three-dimensional models, and then the radiographic slices. So it allows a student or a physician to bring all those pieces together. So, and we're very lucky that through our collaboration, we demonstrate that even just this week, we can take the information that anyone can work on. A skilled physician anywhere in the world, like Babacar, can take his model and put it here. So, we were able to do that this week, and our goal is to have a system where everyone can contribute, they can publish, and they can share. And so that's a key piece of the kind of work that we want to do. So we work in this together, and together we bring the best knowledge that we have, and we make it available to as many people as we can help. So there are different aspects of this technology. This is one that focuses on education and training. I'm going to mention some, and we can come back if it's interesting. Another kind of open project that we have talked about this week is there is an effort to make, I'll pull up the slides as I talk. There's an effort to make MRI scanners more available to people in the world. And let me show you. So traditionally, MRI scanners have not been available for in many areas because of their high cost, 1 million to 4 million euros. And not only that, they're very difficult to maintain. So it's not a cost that you pay once, you pay forever. And companies depend on that to keep coming back and getting money. That is an aspect of high technology. But one of the things that is very interesting in current research is that we have the ability to design MRI scanners in a new way, in an open way, where researchers build a design but don't keep the intellectual property tied up in a company. So they share it openly, an open design that anyone can take and build, or anyone can take and improve, a little bit like the atlas that we have, except as hardware. And combined with this is, sorry about that, combined with that is we get some really nice properties. We can design something that is not designed to be expensive, because it's a company model, we can design it to be low cost, both to buy and to maintain. We can build it so that it doesn't break down. I use the example of the Russian tank, the tank that's designed to run through everything and not need servicing rather than being high tech. So open source means the open plans available for everyone, and that includes the software that can take those images and is designed and can improve on the data and make it available for whatever application a physician needs. And we want it to be simple to use. Maybe the diagnosis there's a screening diagnosis. That doesn't mean the software has to be complicated. It can give the physician a quick answer designed for their patient. So there's been recent work on bringing these kind of scanners from research worlds. This is an example from Uganda, where some of our colleagues actually at Massachusetts General Hospital have designed a low-cost scanner and have deployed it for a specific purpose, looking at infant hydrocephalus, where the imaging is not as complicated as general MRI. It is looking for fluid, water, and brain. And so the diagnosis can be made in a much easier way. The image quality doesn't have to be as high, but it allows treatment of patients that otherwise would not have had the benefit of imaging. And so here you can see the MR physicist and his graduate student who or a postdoc who's working on this project. And this is an example of the kind of imaging that is possible. It's not the highest quality imaging, but it can serve the needs of patients. And so this is one of the examples of things that we think about and now explore. So we can say, does this make any sense to do? We can have reality as our guide. Does this help patients? Is this some technology that we can help happen? Or do we pursue other things like ultrasound or other pieces? So I want to end my talk by making the transition to say one of the areas that we've heard is very important is simulation. So I talked about education. The next step is how do we take the tools that are traditionally, whether we're simulating a procedure, have very expensive devices for surgical simulators, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Is there a way to provide lower cost tools that can be customized for the tasks we need in the same sort of way? And so Andres Lasso from the PERC Lab at Queen's University in Canada will take it from there.
Hello everyone. It's very exciting for me to be here. I joined the Slicer community about 9 years ago. Before that I worked for about 9 years for GE Healthcare and also pursued my PhD. So I thought I have some idea how industry and how academy works. So when I moved to the PERC Lab and started to work with the Slicer community, I was really shocked at how open and helpful people can be. So I experienced lots of secrecy and close development, of course, in the industry, but also in academia. Many people normally by default they don't share information or they share the end result but are not really interested in helping others reproducing those results or really building something together. So it was an amazing feeling to come to a project week a few weeks after I joined the lab at Canada and see that many people are there and they help each other. They know a lot, but they are happy to share and bring everybody else to the same level and work together. So after 9 years, I am still very happy to be part of this community and also see that the community is growing and opening in towards other countries where all these benefits can be shared. So. Really, Slicer is not just one piece of software or some hardware or people, but it's really a combination of all these. So there's a community of researchers, clinicians, also companies who are interested and working together. And the technology is centered around the 3D Slicer software application, but there are also many other extensions that the community contributes. There are sliders which are end-user applications that are ready for use, that are not for engineers only or for developers only, but are more convenient to use. And we are also often work with low-cost and open hardware for that match very well our needs for complete open systems that we have access to customize and extend in any way we want. And we use all this to apply to different fields. Probably it started out mostly with research, but it is applicable for routine clinical work as well, and for training and education. So first about the technology. So 3D Slicer is a software application for medical image computing with data import, export, visualization, and various analysis capabilities. It's open source, and it shows that open so that you can read it, but you can actually freely use it for anything. There is no restrictions of how you use it or what to use it for, how you modify it. There is no obligation to anyone to even tell that you use it or modify it. Of course, you are encouraged to do so, and you benefit a lot from sharing, but you don't have to do anything. 3D Slicer has a extension store. It's called, which is similar to the App Store on phones and tablets and everything. That if somebody developed something that could be useful for others, then he can contribute to this App Store, and other researchers or clinicians just install them by a few clicks, and they have that available. I put this slide to show that the kind of complexity and extent that a complete system has that is built on 3D Slicer. So you can see here different components of the software and hardware that is used for building a complete application. And each of these blocks that you see is typically a result of several years of work of a few engineers and researchers. And this is just a fraction of all the components that this community builds and maintains. So you can imagine that compared to building something like this from scratch, you would need to hire a huge team and pay for them for several years, and would need to be lucky to have a successful result. But since we share all these openly and happy to help anybody adopting and using these, it's really easy to basically reproduce the same results and have the same build the same infrastructure that all the other high-tech labs around the world have. A few words about the community. So this is a large community, and not limited to certain countries or type of people, or like, it's really a global effort. And the slide is, I think we got the statistics a year or two ago, so maybe there are some bigger bubbles in Africa now, but overall the community is growing, not just linearly, but really like exponentially growing, and there are many people downloads and uses our software around the world. We have the project weeks. That is one of the project weeks that is now going on here. This is held twice a year, and researchers, engineers, clinicians come around from the world to discuss, to train each other, plan features, and work specifically on developments together. Slicer has some commercial use as well. Larger companies are mainly use it for prototyping of new products. Smaller companies, there are smaller companies who build products directly based on 3D Slicer. So this is just another proof that the quality of the software and the extent of the features are useful, not just in the research or academic world, but in the commercial world as well. And this also means that if if some work is done which leads to successful products, then you don't have to change plant form. You don't need to rewrite many things. You can just decide, okay, then make it as a product and sell it to other people as well. The last part is a few applications. So I mentioned there are three main areas for applications. The first one is research and also clinical and training applications. So there are all kinds of research work. So what Slicer is and related tools are the best at is using it as a translational research tool. So when there are lots of basic research going on in the world, there are many interesting results, but it's not clear which are practically usable or good enough to be adopted, and it's a difficult work to translate them to clinical practice. So really Slicer is optimal for this translation. So just the different levels. So when somebody develops something in a research lab, it's kind of hacky, and it may or may not work in practice, and the goal is to just see it on one or a few cases if the idea makes sense. And then you need a very versatile tool that you can configure openly to try a certain idea, but it has to be robust enough that you can use it for serious for solving serious problems. And if you are good and lucky and you could develop something new and useful, then you can make it a really single purpose, easy to use clinical tool, and maybe create a product out of it. The second application is training. So obviously all the tools that are developed for research can be applied for medical training. So our lab works closely together with the clinical simulation lab in the medical school in Kingston, and we've been developing training system for various procedures. Probably there are about, I don't know, more than 10 procedures that we have training systems for, and medical students can learn new skills, and also because we use advanced instrumentations like these position trackers and ultrasound, various other tracking and imaging systems. These can be used for also skill assessment, so you can automatically evaluate if the student already has the necessary expertise after a certain amount of training. So this is a training system for learning nephrostomy, which is basically inserting a needle in the calyces of a kidney. And the last application that I would mention is clinical applications. So clinicians often find our lab if they have a problem that are difficult to solve, if they have a too high complication rate, or they have some new ideas that they would like to try, and we can help them to try these ideas in practice on clinical patients. So this project that I will show is one of the most successful projects in the last few years that we've done in the lab. It improves breast tumor resection, which has complications in a relatively high percentage of the cases. So earlier, when even a small tumor, like a 1 centimeter diameter tumor, was found in a breast, the whole breast was removed because there was not really other better approaches to treat this. But then people figured out that just for that 1 centimeter pea-size tumor, it's too bad that the whole breast needs to be removed. So let's try to remove only the tumor and the small region around that. But then when these procedures started, then suddenly many cases the tumor was not removed completely from the breast. So we teamed up with the clinicians at the Kingston General Hospital and developed this system where 3D slicer is used for navigating the surgical cautery device that has the tissue. So while the surgeons are cutting, they see the tumor and they see their device in 3 dimensions. So that when they cut, they always can check how far they are from the tumor. Is it safer to go closer or not? And this system has been used successfully on more than 50 patients, and it looks like that the clinical results are already improved. So the positive margin rates have been decreased. Slicer has been used for many other clinical applications, either this invasive applications or just for clinical studies, but for it has really many applications at various institutions around the world. So thank you for your attention. I'm happy to answer any questions now or later. We have brought a small demo that shows a neural navigation system, so how you can use a simple $3,000 tracker and 3D printed tools, like tools that you can 3D print for a few $10 to improve patient care. What is interesting that a system that can do basically the same thing would cost about $200,000, while you can actually with buying the necessary software or hardware components and configuring slicer, you can get the same functionality for a few $1,000s. So this makes features or tools available that normally it wouldn't make sense to have all these tools available for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It wouldn't enable training. It wouldn't enable deployment in many places. But if the cost is so radically low, then it allows.
So this is a project.
Juan, you don't have video here.
I don't have a video. No, it's coming. Okay, thanks. So this is a project we are developing in a collaboration between the University of Las Palmas de Gran Canaria and the Institute of Astrophysics here, also in the Canary Islands, and we are integrating the application inside 3D Slicer. So in fact, this is part of the work we're carrying out these days here in Las Palmas. So diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, is a global concern because it has a global prevalence. So it is associated to the way of living. So if we don't move too much, and depending on the kind of nutrition, it's easy to develop such a disease. So it's very spread worldwide. So diabetes has many complications, and one of them are the ulcers in the diabetic foot. So they are due to ischemia in the limbs. So blood perfusion is reduced. In fact, the feet, for example, of the diabetic patients are colder usually as you touch them. And that reduced perfusion makes them more sensitive to developing infections. And at the same time, a percentage of diabetic patients develop neuropathies due also to the glucose. So that essentially means that they don't feel pain in their limbs. So what happens is that as they walk, they make hurt themselves, and since they don't notice the pain, they actually don't change the pattern while walking, and then they hurt themselves. They have that decreased blood perfusion, and then the infection comes, and and then the whole problem develops. So it is not easy to control that, And what we have developed is a system. It is meant to be a portable system, and with an associated system to be used in the hospital. So it's two subsystems, one portable, another one to be used in the hospital. So what I'm showing you here is the portable system that is intended to be. I'm actually presenting you both of them because we are using the similar hardware. So what we are using is thermal imaging. So we are measuring infrared radiation from the feet. So we can make very accurate temperature maps with these cheap sensors. And here you can see the whole setting. As you can see, it's very simple. We have it here, so afterwards maybe we can show it how it works. And as you can see, everything is over the shelf. I mean, it's very conventional hardware. So here you have the images from a healthy subject, and the temperature pattern is commonly a butterfly. You can see that red is hotter, so you can see that the tips of the toes and the heel are colder, and then the arc of the feet are warmer. So that's the usual pattern. So in patients, especially diabetic patients or patients with obesity or some other conditions, this pattern changes. So in this case, we have a patient who has already developed an ulcer. So the system is actually intended not to see that there is an ulcer. We already see that. The system is intended to monitor the evolution and try to notice in advance if something else is developing there. So here you can see in the right foot that it is apparently healthy. It actually is not, because there's not a butterfly there. So you can see that the pattern is absolutely different. But what it is interesting, I'll try to get this because is there a pointer? No. Okay, I move and point and then get back. Okay, we have a pointer. Thank you, Chava. So thanks to Chava for the pointer. So you can see here. We have there 0.2 degrees centigrade of difference, and it is not just isolated pixels. What we have there is an actual variation, very, very, very subtle variation of temperature. So we actually cannot know just from one image if this patient is going to develop something. But as you monitor it a long time, you can actually see 2 months later that the patient is getting, an increased temperature around this area. So we still have to make a better evaluation. We are conducting some trials, but what I mean is that we hope that we can very soon have a cheap way to monitor complications associated to the diabetic foot, and it will be integrated. I mean, it's been integrated already in a slicer. Okay, thank you. So then, can you start? Are you starting already? Okay, but I have to give you this.
No, I don't think it's.
Okay, so I move.
Is the presentation parts?
I think we are over with the presentation part. So now we are with the demo. Is that right? Okay.
And so we chose this demo based on how easy it is to transfer here and what it demonstrates. So this shows how navigation can be used for showing the patient anatomy that was acquired by preoperative imaging, CT or MRI, during an intervention. So we can print these tools for a couple of dollars, and they can be tracked in real time by a position tracker device, and we can use this information to show that at a certain position what is the patient anatomy. So if there is a tumor to resect, then with this pointer you can find where to cut the bone and what trajectory to follow while removing the tumor. It can be also used for showing trajectory information that shows how the tracts in the brain are located, so what parts of the brain is relatively safer to remove or cut, and what parts are crucial for maintaining functionality. So I cannot share the screen and show it at the same time, so you have to look at the screen, and maybe you can come closer if you are interested. And while looking at the screen, you can also look into this virtual reality headset, which shows the information in 3 dimensions. So it's not particularly relevant during surgery because you probably want to see where you cut. But for education and training, it can be very useful if you can see a 3-dimensional large scene instead of just a small screen. So these are the two things that you can see if you come closer.